and record. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to class. We're going to play with a few different things today, but we're going to use a blanket a bit today. So if you have a blanket, whether it's a yoga blanket or not, doesn't matter. But if you have one that you can use, go ahead and grab it. And then I want you to roll it into just a small little burrito. I turn it 3 times. And then take that blanket and put it behind you and sit upon it. Okay, even if you're not used to sitting on a blanket. Now, one of my gals out there, I know that you sit on blocks, and that's fine too. So, but you'll still need the blanket for later. So find yourself seated and notice that when you sit on the blanket, maybe it's a little easier to start to move that pelvis forward in particular, and back, but just a little bit more movement as opposed to sitting flat on the floor. And if you're sitting up on blocks or sitting in a chair, same thing, right? See if you can find the movement, the tilt of the pelvis forward, and then back again. And then see if you can find a middle space. One of the things I like about the blanket is that it helps me kind of find the sit bones and the center line of the pelvis. And I'm going to try something real quick. You all stay where you are, because one of my dear students has been telling me that it's hard to see with the lighting here. So let me try something. I hid my lamp because it looks funny, but maybe, now you see a little bit more of an outline. Okay, so it's that whole thing. And then find the center of your sit bones and your pelvis, and notice the alignment of your spine, and just kind of spiral up until the crown of the head, right? Not lifting the chin, but the crown of the head starts to lift up. The legs are comfortable no matter which way you're sitting. The shoulders draw back. And then imagine grounding down, right? So imagine feeling really, really tapping into the feeling of the mat underneath you, and then the floor that is supporting the mat, and then the earth that is supporting the floor and the mat and your body. So feel this drawing down of the lower body. And then from that space, this lifting up of the torso and the spine and getting nice and tall. And take a deep breath and exhale it out. And another deep breath. And an exhale out. And one more here. And an exhale out. If it's okay for your neck, drop chin down toward chest. Try not to round the upper back when you do that. So keep the shoulders kind of lined up at the side body, but drop the chin. And feel that little baby stretch along the back of the neck or the upper back, right? Those trapezius muscles. There's more than that, but that's one of the main drivers there, levator scapula. Breathe. And then take your right ear to your right shoulder. Keep the right shoulder soft. Breathe. And then chin tucks down toward chest. Take it over to the left side, left ear, left shoulder. Big deep breath. And again, take it down toward your chest. Take it up. Inhale the arms up, and then soft interlace the palms to the back of the head and press the shoulders back. Notice I'm not lifting my head. right? The back of the head is pressing into the hands. The shoulders are opening up. Good. And then support the head. Again, optional, maybe look up at the ceiling. If you tend to go toward vertigo or get dizzy spells, you may not want to look up. You decide. Good. And on the exhale, again, be mindful of your back. Maybe you take the elbows down to the floor. And then inhale, lift up, lift up, lift. And exhale, take it forward, stretching out our backs. Good. One more. Inhale, big deep breath up. Exhale, big release down. And reach it up. Take those arms out to the sides. Let the hands come down to your sides. Take one arm up. And exhale, go slow, like a little windshield wiper, right? A little metronome. We're just stretching, but we're stretching thoughtfully, mindfully, right? As I stretch, I feel the pose. Good, breathe. Good, one more. Both arms up, squeeze that beach ball, take your hands to your heart, interlace, press up. Exhale, curl in. Good, inhale, up. Exhale. And notice as you start to really focus on the breath, right? We start to gather energy. One more. And exhale. And shake it out, everybody. And then let's straighten the legs for a moment. We're still on this blanket if you have one. And I want you to sit like right on top of the blanket. And then kind of scoot forward so that the flesh, right, stays back. And then you start to feel grounded again, feeling how that changed your pose. So the legs are now pretty much on the floor. The flesh of the sit bones is pulled back along the blanket, and we find our first Dandasana. Hands down to your sides. Feel the shoulders, right? Feel that opening. Take the arms out to the side. Listen up. I want you to keep activity in the legs. Take the hands behind you and grab opposite elbows. And then imagine drawing those elbows down the back so that the chest just got really tall. Big deep breath again. Legs active. And release those arms. Inhale, reach them up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Press them out. Reach the arms up. Feel the palms of the hands pressing up toward the ceiling. Stretching out the wrists, stretching out the fingers. And exhale, let it go. Good. And then I'll mirror here, take your right leg into Janu Sirsasana, or single leg forward fold. And we know, right, if this does not feel good on your knees, I know I repeat this every time, you can take a block under the knee, especially if the knee is up high. That block can go as high as you need it. Or you can move this foot out so that the knee doesn't feel compromised. And then feel the grounding of this long leg. In fact, flex the foot so much that maybe the heel of that long leg pops up off the ground a little bit. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, little swan dive. Just a little bit. Check out the back. Maybe you swirl a little bit side to side, and then let the hands come to the floor as you draw the shoulders back. And check out your good morning hamstring stretch, right? I'm going to take the top shirt off. I probably regret this, but as we warm up, I think I'll be just fine. Good, stretching out through the hamstring. I like Janu Sirsasana, especially with our little butts on the blanket, tilted off the blanket, right? The pelvis draws forward, so we're not rounding in our backs. The pelvis draws forward, and we find the hamstring stretch that is meant for us, right? Some people can take their heads all the way down to their knee first thing in the morning. I don't know too many of those folks. So just feel this, right? Where do you feel it? And what happens if you turn the foot out to the side? If you turn the toes out to the side and hold the stretch, not too super deep, what happens? Where does it change? You know, what changes in the pose? Are you tapping into a different part of that hamstring? There's three of them, right? Three hamstrings. They go up the back of the leg, and all three attach to the sit bone. Good. Take the foot and point it forward, and then just turn it in a little bit and see what you feel there. Is there any change? This one is harder for me to access, but as I turn my foot in, I feel a little bit more of this outer side, kind of interesting to me. And breathe, especially if you go a little deeper. Now I feel more of the inside hammy. Hammy. All right. Take it all the way up. Ooh, roll those shoulders back, straighten that leg, point, flex your feet. I know if you're watching on the camera, like you can just see my toes popping up there. All right, let's go to the other side. So your right leg is going to be straight, your left knee is going to be bent. Again, you're on that blanket and you slide forward so that the pelvis tilts forward. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, swan dive. Hands come down, just check it out. I'm always really curious when I do, especially we do, you know, a lot of the yoga poses are very similar, but how we approach them is what takes our practice into new areas. So here I am in a pose I do pretty regularly, but yet I'm going, okay, well, what happens if I pull the leg back so that the joint up here feels a little bit tighter, a little bit more secure? Right there, I get a little more hamstring stretch. Turn the toes out to the side. How does that feel for you? Right? So the toes point out. I'm still checking out the pose itself, still working on tilting through the hips or the pelvis and not through the low back. And then take the toes, point them up, and then turn them in. So some people will be able to turn their legs in more because that is their hips orientation. You can see from maybe the camera that my toes don't go in very far, but still I want to play with where does that tap in to that long line of the calf muscles up into the hamstring muscles. It's a beautiful thing. And come on up, everybody. Whoo, release that bent knee, shake them both out, flex both feet, and then point both feet, flex both, and point both. And then one more thing here, go back to your right leg, bend that knee, step over. So I love twists, right? We don't do enough of them. My friend Carrie said the other night, some people have forgotten to use their side mirrors when they're backing up, right? So we start to rely on things instead of using the body. So imagine that you're here driving and you're going to lift up really tall because you want to see everything, right? So we stretch up through that low back, and then we turn to our imaginary side window of our car and we look in that side rear view mirror. Maybe the left arm wraps around the knee, and then I want to see, well, what is coming up behind me? What is happening there? Take the right hand and take it behind you, maybe further back than you would normally. Now, don't go super deep, it's early, but feel that the long left leg is grounded, the spine is lifted. I'm checking it out, and I can see the table behind me. Right? Breathe. And then release it, let go, get really tall, release that leg. And then when you're ready, bend the other leg, bend your left leg, step it over, same thing, right? I'm here in my car, driving my car, dun, dun, dun. Lift up really tall, right? As soon as you lift, you should feel space in the lumbar spine. It's like, oh, yeah, right? And then I want to think about turning to the side. Maybe the right arm wraps around the knee, and then notice what you can see, right? All of a sudden, I can see the side pretty well. I can start to see this kind of diagonal. Take your left hand, reach it back behind a little more than normal, and then see if you can see something behind you, even in your peripheral vision, especially in your peripheral vision. And breathe. Good. Lift up tall. Release that. Shake out those legs. Circle the ankles. Nice job, everybody. And then let's release. You're going to need this blanket later, so just set that aside. Your blocks to the front of your mat. Let's come to table pose briefly. So blocks are to the front of your mat. Place your hands on your mat. Open up those shoulders. Flip your toes under. Come right to downward facing dog. And from down dog, let's start to stretch it out, right? Pedal the feet, go slow so that you notice what you feel. Where's the hamstrings in this one, right? Take both feet to the outer edges of your yoga mat. And then notice how that opens up the pelvis a little bit more. The inner thighs roll back. We can take a deep breath here. Inhale to tippy toes. Keep the knees wide. Drop down to your knees. Release your toes. If it's okay for your knees, sit back. Deep stretch into a childish pose. And then take it back up. Flip your toes under. Downward facing dog. One more right here. Inhale, tippy toes. Exhale, the knees drop. Stay wide. The feet fall in. Stretch your spine, everyone. And then take it up. The feet level out, downward facing dog, and then just sway a little bit side to side. Stretch out side body. And then slowly walk your feet back in so they're hips width apart. Lower both knees to the floor and step forward with your right foot. Grab a hold of your blocks. And then I want you to curl the pelvis back or tuck the pelvis back. I'm not straightening the front leg, but I'm just kind of curling in and stretching back. I want to find levelness in the hips. And I want to tap into this hamstring a little bit. Again, this front foot's hamstring or front leg's hamstring. So take your front heel and pull it back. Keep that engagement and then bend the knee forward. So we're lining up, knee over ankle. Remember to cushion that back knee if you need to. Tuck in just a little bit, hands come to your knee. And then feel as if someone is trying to poke your belly button, right? So you can even find your own belly button and poke it in. And then lift the chest. And notice that. So stretching the quadricep and psoas of the left leg. Inhale, reach the arms up. And breathe. And again, notice, what are you feeling in your body right now? Is it the left thigh talking to you? Is it the right hamstring talking to you? Is it something completely different, right? Where is it for you? Just notice that. Arms are probably still up. Exhale, your hands to your heart, interlace, just press up, lift and open that chest. As you exhale, release. Hands come down to your blocks. Press both hips back. Slide your right foot back. Slide your left foot forward. Same thing here. I want you to give yourself a little tuck of the pelvis so that you can really feel this front foot, and then pull the heel back isometrically. We just activated the hamstrings on the left. Kind of keep that little tone to the low belly, bend the knee, still trying to pull that heel back. Hands go to your knee, lift up. Find your belly button, poke it in, right? And then inhale, reach up. And breathe and feel the legs active again. What's happening on this side? How different is it from one side to the other? Big deep breath, everybody. Exhale, hands to heart, press up, lift up, stretch up, and exhale, hands come back to your blocks. I want you to slide left foot back, right foot forward again. This time, lift your left knee off the floor, optional. Same thing, tuck in the belly, try to pull that front heel back. Start to lift the chest, hands to knee, keep the weight in the front heel if you can, and lift up. Ooh, yeah, right? I've been doing the hills here almost every day, and I am feeling these quads. So breathe, take that belly button, poke it in. Find your breath. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, interlace, press up. Exhale all the way down. This time, leave your left hand on your block. Take the right arm up. Nice little twist, easy peasy. Breathe. Exhale down. Lower your left knee. We're getting there. Slide right leg back. Slide left foot forward. Same thing. Pull that hamstring back. Tuck in a little bit. Lift the right knee. Activate that hamstring. A little hard to do, right? Breathe. Hands come to knee. Curl and then lift. Belly button tucks in. Back foot is nice and straight. Inhale the arms up. Find your breath. Just notice hands come to heart. Interlace, press up. Reach those arms. Feel your body, everybody. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Right hand stays where it is. Take the left arm up. Let's find our twist. Check the back foot. When we turn the body, we'll tend to turn the foot with it. So try to keep that back heel straight. Oh, feel that. Feels so good. Exhale, hands to the floor. Almost done. Lower the knee. Slide left leg back. Slide right leg forward. This is our last little round here of warm up. So this time, depending on your body, go ahead and stretch both hips forward. Be mindful though, keep this back glute active, and then try to isometrically pull both legs towards each other. Yeah, you're right. I don't know about you, but I feel that big stretch on the left side thigh. Breathe. So I'm trying to drag my right heel back and I'm trying to drag my left knee forward. Big deep breath. Flip your toes under, lift the knee, optional. Engage your inner thighs, tuck in through your belly, lift the torso up, belly button draws in, arms reach up, find your breath. Good, this time take those arms behind you, interlace and press the hands down to lift up that chest. Don't drop the head back. Find your breath, everybody. Good, release, hands come down to your blocks. Left hand down, right arm up. So some of this is starting to get to be old hat, right? We know what we're doing. Breathe. Hand comes down, right leg straightens. Your front leg straightens. We're going to start to get that baby, that hamstring opened up. Maybe you wiggle those hips a little bit. Maybe you find your breath. And breathe, and then find stillness. And imagine that you're sitting on the blanket so that the pelvis tilts forward. The body gets long over your leg. Excuse me, breathe. Bend your front knee, lower your back knee. Release, switch sides, last side. Excuse me, goodness gracious. Find the lunge. Can go in a little bit deeper if that feels good to you, but engage the back glute. And then try to pull knee and heel toward each other. Oh, yeah. Deep breath. Flip your toes under, lift the knee. Find that. Every time I come into a lunge, it's almost like I'm wrapping those inner thighs toward each other, as if you could squeeze a block there. It really helps with my stability. Hands come to your knee. Take it up. Pull the belly button in. Find that. Inhale the arms up. Nice crescent lunge here, high lunge. Piece of cake, everybody. Exhale, hands come behind, interlace, pull down, and breathe. That's it. Opening up the chest. Release, hands come down to your blocks. Your right hand's gonna stay, the left arm's coming up. Find the wingspan, everybody. Don't pull from the shoulder joint and don't pull from the wrist joint, right? Everything up in a nice straight line. Release that hand down to your block. Straighten the front leg. Ah. That just feels so good. Good. Watch the weight of those hands on blocks, right? We know. Try to keep them soft, keep them light. Go to soft fists as an option. Breathe. Bend your front knee. Walk your blocks forward. Step forward. Forward fold, everybody. Your hands can stay on the blocks. Lengthen through the pelvis. Feel the sit bones lift. Feel the hamstring stretch. Take a look at your feet. They're parallel to each other. The toes are spread out. Bend your knees. Hands come up to knees. Come on up, everybody. Woo, nice little warm up. Ah, it's good. Just stretch it out. Shake it out. Grab one of your blocks. Grab one of your blocks. Take it between your legs. Give your legs a good squeeze. Take the inner thighs in, soften the knees, right? So a lot of times when we start to squeeze here, we'll pop those knees back and you can see what happens, right? Pop the knees, there goes the back, there goes the alignment. So keep the back of the knee soft and give that a good squeeze. Good, inhale, take it up. Exhale, hands to heart, come on down, little baby squat, chair pose, no kidding, right? Find the heels of your feet. Make sure the tailbone is long, the chest is lifted. We're not overweighting the low back. So it all depends, right? Are you super flexible here? Are you tighter here? If you're real flat here, chances are your psoas muscles are real tight. So find what feels good to you. As we sit in our chair pose, maybe the arms come out, maybe not. Give the block a good squeeze. Breathe. And then press the hips back. You can take your fingers and press them into those hip creases and see how long you can get the torso to come out of those hips. From here, fingertips to the floor. Breathe. Maybe soften. Notice. Walk your hands toward the front of your mat. Now, this is tricky, but walk the feet back, hang on to your block. I knew you could do it though. Hold on to the beach ball with those elbows. Widen through the shoulders. Press into the thumb, index fingers, and your middle fingers. So the whole hand really is working. But when we're in down dog, we tend to want to roll out to the pinky side. See if you can avoid that. And then just kind of drop the shoulders toward the floor and press them away. It's almost like I'm bending the elbows and then pressing away. It's the weirdest little funky short push up, right? We're just softening the shoulders and reaching them. One more. Press. And then take yourself to plank pose. Still hang on to that block. Hang on. In plank, press those heels back toward the floor. You know you. If you want to take the knees down to the floor, go ahead. So how do we both lengthen the chest forward and press the heels back? Breathe. Imagine somebody's poking at your belly button. Draw it in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower those knees to the floor. Grab your block, take it out. Come down to elbows and then to belly. Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose. Elbows are under shoulders. I want you to sway side to side. Find your breath. Maybe look over one side, maybe look over the other side. Where is it? What do you feel? Where's the belly, right? Are you getting any stretch there? And then take it all the way down to the floor. Take your hands out to the sides, elbows point up, and then see if you can lift up any amount. You can move the hand position. Maybe one is more forward, one is back. Go the other side. One forward, one back. Maybe they're way out to the sides. Maybe they're way forward. Where is it, everybody? And lower down, just pause. I want you to bend one knee and then the other knee. Just pause. Squeeze them in. Straighten them up. And release. We're pressing up to plank and then down dog. So try to press up to your knees and then to plank. From plank to down dog. Find your breath. Look through your hands. Step forward, right leg. Blocks or no blocks, up to you. Blocks are always a lovely thing. I love my blocks. So you're in high lunge or low. See if you can take the hands close to the body, bypass the knee, find your high lunge. Exhale, hands to heart, interlace and press up. Exhale, release, hands behind you, press down. Oh yeah, inhale up. Exhale down to your blocks, left hand stays down, right arm goes up. We've been here before. Right hand down, left leg straight, or sorry, right leg straight. Breathe. Find your pose. Listen up, everybody. You're going to bend your front knee, a little hop up, short hop up, toes point more forward. Take your blocks to second level. Feel this front hip, draw it back. Lengthen through your whole spine. In fact, take your blocks up all the way to the highest level. And remember what we did when we took those fingers and just pressed into the joint, the hip joint or the hip crease to lengthen the torso. That's what I want you to do. Pause here. I lowered my left hand block to make it a little bit more stable. I'm going to put my left hand on that, my right hand on my hip. Variation here of reverse triangle. Breathe. Maybe the arm goes up, maybe not. Woo. I know, I feel it too. Release, hands down, lower that block, everybody. Both blocks to each hand. Bend your front knee, step back if you can. Nice down dog. And then left foot forward. Find the lunge first. Tuck in through the belly. Take the arms up. Right? So, I don't know. It's kind of wintry here, so we got to warm up. We got to move these bodies through the body. We're going to find out so much information about everything, not everything else, but so many other things. Breathe. Hands to heart, interlace, press up. Release those hands, take them behind you, press down, lift the chest. That's it. And take them up. Exhale, hands to your blocks. Find your breath. Your right hand stays where it is. The left arm goes up. We're coming into a nice lunge twist. Breathe. Release that hand down, straighten the front leg. Oh, yeah. Stretch it out, my loves. Feel the feet, pressing those feet, lengthening the spine. Bend your front knee, short hop, not too much. It's kind of, for me, it's like a 2/3 of the way kind of pose. So I want to take those fingers into that front hip crease and draw the hip crease deep as the body gets longer. You can even walk your blocks a little bit further forward. Right hand stays on the block. The left hand comes to your hip And then you're just going to think about it. So what just happened for me is I leaned into the front leg when I did that. So I want to lean back into the back leg a little more. Maybe the arm goes up, maybe not. Reverse triangle. Release that hand. Woo. Set both blocks aside. Bend your front knee. Step back to downward facing dog, which feels pretty darn good right now. Come to plank. Pretend the blocks between your thighs. Push the heels back, but lengthen the chest forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Child's pose. Yay! And breathe, everybody. Hero pose is an option. Just feel your bodies. Right? So whether you know this, right? Whether you did that whole thing or you did half of that thing, you're here and you have done something good for your body. You have done what you can do today. You know, we always say, you know, kind of try to bring your best to each class or to each thing you do, but realize that your best from day to day changes. So it's not about judging today based on yesterday or 20 years ago, you know, we don't want to do that. But just for today, am I doing what I can do for my body today to feel good? You know, and that might be 70% or 50%, but it's your 100% for today, and that's good. That's all you got to do. All right. So you're going to grab this lovely blanket, and if you have not put it in a roll or like a tri-fold, go ahead and do that. It's a nice tri-fold. And you're going to put it on your mat a little bit more, just a little more than halfway. Okay, just a little more than halfway. And then you're going to lay on this lovely blanket with your legs on the blanket. Shouldn't need your blocks right now. So right now, I'm at the hip creases of my blanket, where the blanket is. And I just want to get a sense of this as I kind of roll a little side to side. So you might feel the blanket popping over the muscles, or the muscles popping over the blanket. That's okay. You can put knees down and heels up, right, to get a little bit more. So we're using this blanket kind of like a foam roller. So if you get the idea. And then come to the center and bend one knee and then bend the other. This should feel just fine. And then relax that and scoot yourself up 1 or 2 inches up toward the front of your mat so that the blanket is lower on your thighs. And then bend one, bend the other. You can take the knees off the floor, get a little bit more. You're feeling this ideally on the deep muscles of those thighs. A lot of times we get super tight in the thighs, we get super loose in the hamstrings. We create some imbalance there. Ooh, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling that. So just bend one knee and hold. Just one knee and hold it. And then roll to the side and back to the center. Smile. Roll to the side and to the center. Oh yeah, release that side, bend the other side, just hold. You can tone in through the belly. If your elbows or upper back are getting tired, you can lower down. It's just harder to move, a little harder to move, right? So wherever you are, roll to the side. Oh, and center. I would love your feedback on this one. I hope you're feeling it in a good way, like I'm feeling this in a good way. And center. And then scoot down just a little bit more. You want to be above the knees by a good, you know, couple inches. And then same thing, bend one and then the other. Whew. Bend, bend, bend. That's it. If you're playing tennis, riding bikes, walking a bunch, again, the quads, they're our power movers, but they get tight and then we don't stretch them. It's hard to stretch the quads. All right, so just bend one, roll to the side, come back to center, roll to the side again, and center. Switch sides, bend the other knee, hold, roll to the side. Oh, yeah. And center. And roll this side. Oh, and center. And release. Scoot yourself down so you're back at the hip crease and just lower that upper body. And breathe. All right, so next you're going to roll onto your side. I'm on my left side, so you can either do that or not. And you're going to be right above the physical hip joint where the femur goes into the hip of the joint hip, goodness gracious. And then you're going to lay down. So if I were to demo on this side, you're on this part of the muscle above the hip joint, but below this harder bony top part of your pelvis. And just feel that. And then lean back a little bit, and you're just going to lift the bottom knee and lower it. Lift the bottom knee and lower, and lift, squeeze, and lower. Good. One more. Squeeze and lower. Maybe you come back up on your elbow. You're going to go below the hip joint. Okay, so we're not leaning on joints. And you're probably going to start to feel this one. So roll forward and back. So what are we working on? If you feel this, this is your ITB, your iliotibial band. It is a fibrous tendon, so it does not stretch much. And if you're like me, this baby is tender, right? So we're just rolling forward and rolling back. One more. And back. Scoot a little bit more forward. Your butt can come to the floor of your hip. A little harder. Otherwise, keep it lifted. So roll and back. I hope you're still with me. And back. Good. One more. And back. Good. I want you to drop the hip and drop your body, but keep that leg on and then just bend your bottom leg. If I move this out of the way, you're bending the bottom leg and straightening it right on that ITB, on that IT band. Straighten, bend. Last one. And breathe. Good. Step both one on top of the other. Lift the feet off the floor. Again, you're putting pressure on it. I know. Just breathe. Bend both knees. Press yourself up and switch sides. We're almost done with this part. I think some of this stuff is so vital. We're doing yoga and we're doing all our stuff. We're gardening, whatever it is. But if we don't take time to just break up some of that connective tissue, and I like this, the foam roller for a lot of people is just a little bit too much. So you're laying on that side hip again, right? You're right on that side hip. It's the bottom knee that's going to lift. So when you lift that knee, you might feel stretch and down. So lift, down, two. So you're just trying to take like your bottom knee up to your top knee. Good. Couple more. Just stretch. Maybe at that top you feel it. And last one. Good. Release. You're going to straighten those legs. You can feel that. You can roll a little bit. Tensor fascia lata. Sounds like a tea drink, doesn't it? All right. So step over that blanket with the hip, right? You can come on down to your elbow. Oh, Lordy. Or you can stay up. I like taking my front foot forward. It just gives me a little bit more control as I roll forward and roll back. I realize I'm going to have to move my blanket down Otherwise, I'm going to headbutt this couch and roll. Good. And then scoot forward a little bit more. I'm just moving my blanket down so I have room. A little bit further down and roll some more. Woo. Smile. Breathe. I can tell I've been doing hills because I can really feel these. These tend to be tight on everybody, by the way. Good. Little bit further again. If you can stay on elbow, great. If you got to lower, go ahead and lower. Woo. Breathe. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. Okay. So don't worry about getting it exactly right or wrong or anything. Don't worry about that. And then come to the center, lower yourself down, leave the weight of the leg on there. You can even, right, put your top leg on it if you like these kinds of things like I do. Breathe. You can take the top leg on top of the bottom leg. Oh, yeah. Baby, baby. So, right, if that IT band is tight, think about it. That IT band connects to the outer knee. Usually, if I've got knee stuff, it's kind of where I feel it on that outer part of the knee. So, if these weren't so tight, maybe, right, the knees would behave a little more. You can even roll a little here. Yeah, oh yeah, I need to do these way more. All right, release. I want you to come onto your back. You're all going, oh, thank God. But I just want you to feel these legs. Take the knees up to your chest and then straighten both legs. You can use your hands to support them. And maybe this simple leg lift here feels really nice because the hammies are nice and open. And then take the legs wide. Whew, there's inner thighs. Taking them together, cross your knees, bring one knee on top of the other and both knees to chest. And straighten cross the other way. Bring those in towards chest, right? So feel that, right? It's like sweet, sweet, sweet. And then roll, undo the knees, roll to one side and come on back up. I'm going to try to do this sideways. I think you'll figure out what I'm doing. So I want you to sit on the blanket, and it's on the blanket, not like on and halfway off. Sit on your blanket and then cross your right ankle over your left. So it's a figure four, simple figure four. Here's the tricky part, and the part I really like, especially on a foam roller. So again, glutes, hips, right, gets all kinds of tight. Want you to lift yourself and then turn your hips to the right. So I'm leaning on that right glute muscle. And I know it's not super easy to see with the blanket and the dark colors, but I think you got the idea. So as you lean on that side, I want you to just rock a little side to side as if you could bring that right knee closer to the floor. So you're going to be feeling the right glutes. Maybe you circle. So we are working through the connective tissue and the muscles of the glutes. When we talk about piriformis syndrome, sciatica, these tight muscles wrap around that sciatic nerve, one possibility for having sciatic pain. So imagine if you could just hang out on your foam roller, or even simpler, on your blanket while you're watching TV or talking to somebody. Preferably not when you're out to dinner. and just kind of explore what's going on in that hip. Oh, yeah. Good. Take it back to center. We're going to do the other side. I'll just turn around so you can see-ish. So now I'm looking at the left leg. I'm going to first come into figure four. And for some of us, you sit on that blanket and lift up. There's a sweet stretch, right, on that hip. But I really like just pivoting to that left glute. And that, once again, I'm just going to explore. One side almost always tighter than the other, and you might notice that in your body. Maybe you do circles. Maybe you lean in, right? There is no limit to your imagination. You can come down on your elbow and find the tight spot there. You can find a tight spot and move the knee, right? All of those as we work through the muscles and the connective tissue. Like I can definitely feel tight spots here, but not nearly as tight as the other side for me. So it's all good, everybody. It is us exploring where our bodies are, what's happening to them, not going into rote, oh, she's doing figure four and then spacing out to something else. Going, how is figure four in my body today? Right? Good. And then come on up and straighten both legs. Whew. And then find that slide off the blanket again where the flesh moves forward. Both legs straight, just come into a small forward fold. Some of you that don't have any issues with that and want to take it further forward, go ahead. For me, I never do a deep forward fold with both legs. My back just doesn't like it, so I don't do it. I'm going to respect that and try to move from the pelvic tilt as I take my torso forward. Deep breath, everyone. And come on up. Good. So you're going to just move this blanket out of the way for a second. I'm going to put my long sleeve shirt back on because we're going to stay on the floor from this point on. And I know I'm going to start to chill rather quickly. So give me a sec. Have your strap near you and have one have one block near you as well. And your blankets would be kind of sweet too. In fact, let's do something. I changed my mind quickly. Let's just grab your blanket, open it up, and take it wide and long where your hips are going to be. Take it wide and long. And then come on down onto your backs with your strap and your block near you. Okay? Come on down. And breathe. And just pause for a moment here and pelvic tilt or tuck and then tilt and tuck and tilt. Good. Couple more tuck and tilt. And then find neutral. Take the soles of the feet together, pinky edges on the floor, pinky edges of your feet, and just pause here in this very comfortable, hopefully comfortable supine Baddha Konasana or supine butterfly. And feel the shoulders fall to the floor. Maybe turn the head a little side to side, just chilling out. And then take the head to neutral. So here's what we're going to do. If this hurts anything, particularly your ankles, then I want you to come to regular bridge pose. Okay. So what we're going to do here in Baddha Konasana is we're going to push the feet together. As soon as you push the feet together, you should feel those glutes go fire up, right? So from there, lift your hips off the floor. Breathe. Flatten the feet. The feet are together, but the feet are now on the floor. Your knees are together, your hips are up. This variation of bridge pose, and then lower the hips down. Here we go. Baddha Konasana. Push the feet together, lift the hips, straighten the feet so they're on the floor, and lower down. 3 more here. Legs out, push and lift, straighten the feet, lower down. 2 more. Out. Squeeze up. Knees together. Feet are flat. Lower down. 1 more. Out. Squeeze up, everybody. Bring the knees together. Lower down. And pause. Tilt and tuck. Tilt and tuck. Be mindful of your ankles here. If you've got ankle stuff going on, be super mindful. And then feet and knees together, press up, squeeze, open the knees to the side, back to this lifted Baddha Konasana and down. So we're reversing. The knees are together, press up into bridge, open the knees out to the side, squeeze and down and back together. 3 more, up and open and down, knees together. Ooh, this is 4, open and down. Last one together and lift and open and down. Whoo, and bring the knees together. Bring those knees to your chest. Grab your strap if you can find it. Right foot to the floor, left leg up. Straighten the right leg if that makes sense for you. And just breathe. Do nothing else. Breathe, stretch your leg. Breathe, stretch your leg. With the strap in your left hand, your left foot up to the ceiling, take the left leg out to the side, any amount. Here's the interesting thing, right? I can take my leg all the way down to the floor, but when I do my right hip lifts, I don't actually increase the stretch any. So if I keep my right hip on the ground and stretch the left leg, I get way more stretch to the inner thigh. And then take the leg up, grab the strap with your right hand, take it across. Ooh. Once again, you don't have to take that leg all the way down to the floor. You take it out to the side and you get a nice deep stretch of that leg. And up to the ceiling. Bend the knee, release that leg, both legs straight. Shake it out. That's it. Bend both knees and take the right leg up. Same thing, left leg straightens if that makes sense for you. Breathe. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. You're just right here. And then with the strap in your right hand, take the right leg out to the right. Keep the left hip grounded. And breathe. Leg comes up. Grab the strap with your left hand. Take that leg over. Ooh, and breathe. Take the leg up. Bend the knee to chest, release your strap, straighten that leg all the way. Straighten it and just turn the toes in, turn them out, turn them in and out. Good, one more. Turn them in and turn them out. And then grab your block. Bend your knees, lift your hips, take that block under your sacrum at the lowest level. So restorative bridge pose, another one of my favorites. Think about it, right, as we play with the sacrum and the SI joint for many of us. This restorative bridge keeps both SI joints on the same plane and stable. And so I just want you to pause here, just think about this, right? Feel the comfort, hopefully the comfort of the hips. If you're feeling your low back, I would play with the tilt tuck of the pelvis, because sometimes this could be a little bit of a back bend for some, depending on your lower back, and you might feel a little twinginess. So you would just tuck a little, or if you're really tucked and it feels kind of flat, you would tilt a little bit. Ideally, it feels pretty neutral. And then one knee up, other knee up, both legs straight, coming into this really sweet inversion. The arms can go out to the side, the legs find that hover point. And you just breathe. Maybe close your eyes. Maybe feel the grounding of the mat underneath you and the floor underneath that and the earth underneath that. Breathe. Right knee comes to chest. Left leg slowly lowers to the floor. Be gentle here. Don't pull on the right leg, okay? Because we'll be doing a little bit much for the SI joint. So you want the right leg and right hip to be pretty neutral here, and the left leg stretching through that psoas muscle. Big deep breath. And then switch, bring the left knee in, straighten the right leg long. Once you've straightened and bent, just relax it here. Don't flex, don't point, just let the legs relax. Deep breath. Bend your right knee. Put one foot on the floor at a time. Lift up your hips and take the block out and then lower the block down. Set your block aside. And then take this blanket that you have wrapped or have spread out underneath your hips. You're simply going to take one end of that blanket and make it as tight as you can around that side of your hip. Hang on to it. Grab the other one and make that as tight as you can. And then let the hands rest on the lower belly, soft interlace for me. The hips are swaddled, the legs are fully relaxed, and find your version of Shavasana here. I love doing the swaddling. You can use a belt as well here. I love this because when we work and work and work with the hips, we provide this comfort, this feeling of safety, security that our bodies resonate with as we come into our Shavasana. And as you drift into Shavasana, maybe you think about all of the people and the things that ground you in your life, that make you feel solid and sure and confident. Soften the jaw, soften the belly. Allow yourself these for few moments of stillness, of quiet, of peace. Go softer still. For those of you who might be ready to come out of Shavasana, start to wiggle your toes and your fingers. You can leave the blanket in place as you draw your knees up to your chest. Rock side to side. Roll the knees to one side or the other. Curling over to fetal pose. And then pressing up to your seat. And take a moment here, bringing your hands to your heart. And feeling gratitude for all of those people and things that ground us, that keep us knowing where we are in the world. Namaste, everyone. Thank you, everybody.